Have you thought about it? You asked for a divorce to compensate me 4 million. If you can't give me 4 million, I will send you back to prison, Xiao Nuan said with a threatening tone. She doesn't want to get divorced yet. 3 years have made her accustomed to having a guy named Shu Yi next to her. I smiled and nodded. Divorce. It would be bad if I waited for her to come back before divorcing. Thank you for taking care of me in the past 3 years. I will find a way to pay you back the 4 million I owe you within a year. Do you have time today? I will go through the divorce procedures in the afternoon. Xiaonuan's proud character makes me not give me a chance, and I don't have to open the door at the Civil Affairs Bureau in the afternoon. We walked out in 10 minutes. Xiaonuan, why did she answer the call last night? I was very happy to tell you that I was going back to China soon, but after I finished speaking, it was her who told me that she knew it. Don't you already have stomachache? Please put away the filth in your mind. I left my cell phone on the first floor last night. Is there anything else? I'm very busy. After listening to other women's voices on the phone, Zhao Nuan quickly hung up the phone. She suddenly felt that her head was definitely squeezed by the door, and she actually liked such a dissolute man. After the divorce and the stomachache and nausea, Zhao Nuan really couldn't muster the interest to go to work. Vice President Wen, who had never been absent from work for no reason, miraculously absented himself from work. After driving back to Wen's house, Nuan opened the door and walked into the bedroom. Chen Nuanshu, who had not yet gotten up yet, tilted his head and looked at his precious daughter, and then she hugged him. Mom, Xu Yi and I divorced? At 11 o'clock in the Wen family, Zhao Wen was forced to sit on the sofa and face the interrogation of her parents. Lao Wen is a doting child, but today he did not protect his daughter and allowed this precious girl to be preached to. Zhao Nuan, you are really ignorant. You keep bullying Xu Yi, so I won't talk about you anymore. But how can you get divorced? In the past few years, you have been going smoothly at work. Who is helping you behind the scenes? Which of your jobs was not done by Xu Yi for you in the middle of the night? It was a waste of Xu Yi's life skills. He made bathwater for you every morning and dinner. Even the underwear was washed by Xu Yi. I don't know who told me last time that it was nice to have a man at home. Now you tell me that I'm divorced. Xu Yi had spent several lifetimes frowning. When he met such a thing like you, Xiao Nuan, who was scolded, couldn't help but puffed up his chest and retorted, Am I your daughter or Xu Yi? I told you that it was Xu Yi who filed for divorce. It was your daughter who was dumped. Wen Yan stood beside Lao Wen on the spot. You stopped making noises and took out your cell phone to ask that boy how Uncle Wen's daughter is not worthy of this little bastard. Unfortunately, Shen Wanshu shouted angrily before the call was even broadcast. You still have the nerve to call Xu Yi and ask, aren't you afraid that Xu Yi will say that Shan Wan has honored man in his heart? Isn't he just waiting for that little brat from the Ju family to come back? Do you think it's me or Xu Yi who doesn't know? Xiao Nuan, I tell you, if you dare to be with a little brat from the Ju family, I will take back all the shares in your hand. Then you will see the little brat from the Ju family kick you away. The shares belong to my dad. Do you dare to ask your father if you want to practice military gymnastics? Chen Wanchu glared at Uncle Wen. He stood by his wife this time, then frowned and whispered to Zhayon Wen, Your mother and I have the same intention and will not agree with you being with Du Zitang. The call was answered by Xu Yi. He filed for divorce this morning. You guys said, what's the use of me? Xu Yi is good. You go to Xu Yi to face Xiao Nuan's resistance. Chen Nuanchu obviously didn't pay attention to it and looked at his daughter sarcastically. Do you think I, a mother, can't see your little tricks? Your stomachache is coming back. From tomorrow on, I will sell your house at half price. Now that you are divorced, come home and live there. If you dare to come back after 9 o'clock in the evening, I will break your legs. If you want to fall in love in the future, you can be with anyone, but you can't be with Du Zitang. I put my words here today. You can't go anywhere today. I'm going to find Xu Yi now and ask him why he wants a divorce. Xiao Nuan, you better hope Xu Yi doesn't tell me the truth. Chen Nuanchu stood up and cast a threatening look at Lao Wen. If he dared to let Nuan go out, he would never have a good life. Chen Nuanchu, who was born in the army, would never talk in a roundabout way, nor would he persuade Xiao Nuan with gentle words, because Lao Wen played this role. If he didn't be stronger, no one in this family would be able to control this girl. Chen Nuanchu went back to the room, took out a real estate certificate and glared at Xiao Nuan. If you don't want your second uncle to send troops to arrest you, just stay at home. I will sell the house today and find Xu Yi. Why do you like it? Little bastard, did I give you too many smiles? Tell me what's good for you. I'll call the army right away. I'm so good, you little mother. I was wrong. You haven't eaten yet at noon. I'm waiting for you in the common people's room to ask you about your divorce with Xiao Nuan. I'll only give you 10 minutes and you can't make it. I know. If I can't make it, send troops to catch me for 10 minutes. I must make it there. The weather is very hot in the summer morning. I couldn't get a taxi. When I ran into the private room, my mother-in-law took out her mobile phone and seemed to want to make a call. Chen Nuanshu looked at me, who was out of breath, and nodded lightly. It's not bad. After the divorce, she took me seriously as my mother-in-law and told me why she divorced Nuan Nuan. Think about it before you answer me, otherwise I will really kill you. Seeing this, I can only lie and say that I have problems in that area and cannot have children and go to the hospital. Now I call Zhao Nguyen and ask her to come and accompany her. I have no choice but to go to the hospital, and I definitely can't go to the hospital. If my mother-in-law finds out that I lied, I will really die. I sighed and sat on the chair and whispered. My marriage to Xiao Nuan was just a deal. When I was in trouble, my mother needed 4,000,000 yuan for the operation. I had no choice but to ask Xiao Nuan to save me. She took advantage of me when we got married. I helped her deal with you and the 2 elders. Now the time for the contract is up, and I can't delay. Xiao Nuan has no way to act clever in front of my mother-in-law, which will only make her death worse. I can only confess honestly. But when I confessed, I took all the responsibility on myself. But my mother-in-law's attention seemed not to be on our agreement to get married. But instead, she was asking questions around, I am very old, but you are not old at all. Mom, you are not old at all. You say that you and Xiao Nuan are sisters when you go out. Chen Nuanchu was satisfied and then said, we agreed to get married. I can think that you have been in love for the past 3 years. Even if you have a dog by your side for a few years, you should have feelings, right? I'm not saying you are a dog. I'm saying Xiao Nuan's tough mother-in-law. The sweat on my forehead has never stopped. I wiped the sweat and whispered it. You also know my origin. If it weren't for the fact that I have something to do, there would be no girl like Xiao Nuan to talk to me in this life. This thing must not be about being well matched. Even if I like Xiao Nuan, it's useless. She likes someone else. You said that the little brat of the Du family, Du Ziteng, just fell in love with the shares of Changshan Group in Xiao Nuan's hands. Can a fool like Xiao Nuan think that her Ziteng brother really likes her? You said you wanted a divorce without telling your mother. What should I do now? Why do I regret not having a child with a father? I really didn't dare to answer this, and nodded or shook my head. But fortunately, Chen Yuanchu didn't make it too difficult. I took out 1,000,000 yuan in my bag and threw it to me. I divorced. Chen Yuanchu is not that kind of old-fashioned and conservative person. In the past 3 years you called me mom. Now you are not my son-in-law and you are considered half of my son. You can use these first. Don't think about it. If something happens to Lao Wen and I after we leave the city, you will have to come over to help. If you dare to refuse, I will let the troops kill you. I don't refuse. I'm short-handed and it's not a small amount, but I really don't dare not to take it. My mother-in-law's toughness makes me realize that it's not just a day or two. During the meal, Chen Nuanchu suddenly spoke up. When Nguyen was imagining that he could convince the crowd, I nodded with a big mouthful of food. What did Chen Nuanchu think of my son-in-law? He is so handsome and warm, and he is very talented. He squinted at me and smiled. Do you want to go back to Chongxiang Group? I can ask Lao Wen to give you a position as the head of the planning department. I smiled bitterly and shook my head. Mom, please stop making trouble. I went back to Chongxiang Nuan and thought I was chasing after him. After the divorce, keep some distance. Besides, the employees at Chongxiang don't know about my relationship with Xiao Nuan, but the senior management has seen me. In addition, that person is coming back. No matter what, I am also warm. My ex-husband seeing my ex-wife walking with other men makes me feel uncomfortable. So just let the little dog live. Chen Nuanchu's expression was obviously disappointed and he sighed softly. You, all the pride in your bones has been used on us. I didn't give anything to Xiao Nuan, this little fool. He still foolishly thought that he taught you all your abilities. Since you insist on doing so, I won't embarrass you. But if you and Xiao Nuan are divorced, don't rush to get married. When you meet the girl you like, tell your mother that she is too soft. Let's spend money on her. I won't fall in love in a short time. Solve the trouble first, then buy a house in the city, and then think about love. Mom. You should go play mahjong. This is already Anjao's 4th call. Chen Nuanchu's cell phone rang while we were talking. Chen Nuanchu answered the phone and cursed. Ex-Yu Yi, you Aunt Zhao, I ask you if you can't go. Aunt Zhao, I have something to do in the afternoon and I have to buy groceries for Xiao Nuan. At this point, I was suddenly stunned. It turns out that it really makes a habit. The lady sister on the phone gritted her teeth and said angrily, Chen Nuan Chu came over and drove away a very low-key A6 for my mother-in-law who had died. I returned to the street with a bitter look on my face. Then I clenched my fists and a new life was about to start. I went to buy cigarettes. My mentality was relatively optimistic. After buying a pack of cigarettes, I went to Zongji to look for a house. Finally, I chose a high-price house with a Fuji structure on the top floor. The debt of 4 million cannot be saved by frugality. If I want to pay off the debt, it is not enough to rely on savings alone. On the other hand, Zhao Nuan is on the verge of collapse. The house has been sold. The mother-in-law told Zhao Nuan lightly that she lost the house to her Aunt Zhao during the mahjong game, and if she had any objection, she should go to the person named Zhao, for Aunt Zhao, who has been forcing herself to call her sister since she was a child. Wen Nuan always maintains the concept of staying close but far away. This disrespectful elder would chase her and ask, "How is my physical strength?" This made the unknown Nuan not know how to answer. In this regard, Wen is as pure as a piece of white paper. At this moment, Wen is sitting in front of the bed in a daze. Does he really like having a stomachache, or does he regard her as a spiritual sustenance? He has been abroad for many years. In fact, time has diluted everything. When we first got married, we would chat on the phone until late at night. As time passed, the late night shortened to an hour. In the end, I would hang up because I shouted to eat. I would also get up early and cook a bowl of fish head, tofu soup, or rib soup on the days when he is most uncomfortable every month. I will prepare ginger and wolfberry water for him in a thermos cup and ask him to take it to the company. For a moment, Zhao Nuan is confused. The figure of the stomachache in his mind is getting blurry, but my appearance is getting clearer. Nuanan can't stand this. He was dumped by me. He is not allowed to be like this. Zhao Nuan, who still missed this man and felt like he was about to collapse, picked up the keys and mobile phone and rushed out of the house. In the bar, Zhao Nuan looked at this strange environment. He mustered up the courage to walk into this place where he had never been before and felt very resistant, but he needed to vent. The more he drank, the more angry. How can I think of this guy Shu Yi without regrets? In addition to good cooking, clean clothes, smart brain, and good looks, what other advantages does he have? The most important thing is that this guy dared to mention divorce and dumped me Nuan. Zhao Nuan, who was already drunk, did not realize that there was no stomachache in her mind. This kind of person is not drunk. Everyone is drunk. Hello, beauty. Can you give me a chance to buy you a drink? I can't remember this is the first time Zhao Nuan has come over to chat with me. I just want to drink quietly by myself for a while. I turned around and glanced at this man who was about 41 years old and wearing famous brands. Zhao Nuan, Zhou Mei, asked, I have an annual salary of 6 figures and a watch worth more than 1 million. I have Fu Tingyi's relatives at home. I need you a glass of wine. The middle-aged man smiled and turned to leave. In his tone, he could feel that the woman was not asking him but telling him what he said. He had a young man. When he was about to get up and leave, another young man approached him to show face. All the friends over there were looking at him. He went to have a drink in the bar and it was so lonely alone. Sister, your legs are really nice. Do you mind if your brother touches them? Gun Wenwen poured the wine in the glass on the face of the young man in the society. The middle-aged uncle who was about to leave in the distance turned back and sat not far away. He seemed to be waiting for the chance of the hero to save the beauty. The young man, who was completely humiliated, stopped pretending and gritted his teeth and cursed. The bitch raised his hand and was about to be violent, but his hand did not fall. His wrist was grabbed by someone. A fat man appeared next to the young man. Shen Jing was violent here. You want to be carried out. Not everyone can be touched by you. Shen Jin's friends in the distance also noticed the strange thing here and got up and came forward. But the little fat man didn't even look at it, grabbed Shen Jin's arm and threw it aside. Then he smiled softly at Zhao Nuan and said, Sister-in-law, why did you come here by yourself? Zhao Nuan, who was already drunk, looked at the little fat man in front of him in confusion, tilted his head and asked Shu Yi's brother curiously. My surname is Sun, just call me Fu Bao. This bar is opened by my uncle, sister, and others. I often come here. Sister-in-law, it's not safe for you to drive here so late. It's not good if these grandchildren are playing dirty tricks. I just called my brother-in-law. He should be here soon. Shu Yi is coming. Zhao Nuan didn't know why she was panicking and was about to leave the bar tremblingly. The less she wanted to see this guy, the more inseparable she was from him. Zhao Nuan wanted to leave, and Shen Jin's people would definitely not agree, clamoring to give them an explanation. Fu Bao frowned, grabbed a chair, pointed at the people making trouble, and cursed angrily goodbye. They were all shameless. I really thought I didn't dare to touch you, Huazi. Go upstairs and tell them to stop playing. Someone wants to cause trouble here. My sister-in-law's house is upstairs. You guys don't think about causing trouble. AA players who came to the bar can't afford to pay the price. Everyone knew that they had caused trouble. Who is Lily's man? When Xiao Nuan stumbled and was about to walk out of the bar, someone who was about to walk into the bar bumped into someone with a princess bag in his arms. Sun Fu Bao turned around and left the bar with a smile. Those watching the fun also understood that it was someone else's man. Did you drive here after drinking? Did Fu Bao not notice that you drove back and came to a place like this? If Fu Bao hadn't been here today, would you have thought about your fate? You have no face and a fart. Xiao Nuan, who was held in my arms like a princess, covered her face with her hands and didn't want me to see it. I didn't want to talk about her appearance anymore. She turned around and was about to leave the bar. However, as soon as she came out of the bar, Xiao Nuan vomited all over me. At that moment, I was about to collapse. I gritted my teeth and became angry. I really should have sent you to Mom right now. Let Mom know that we just got divorced and you came to the bar to get drunk. Yao Nuan gave me the car keys and looked at me confusedly, struggling and shouting that it was my mother, not your mother. Then I will take you back to your mother's house. I don't have the key to my house, Xiao Nara, and are you not ready to go home? I'm really angry. She went back to the house I just rented and slept on the sofa all night. When I woke up, I felt pain all over my body and even more distressed. The bedding that I hadn't touched was occupied by someone. I was woken up by my mobile phone. Xiao Naren's mobile phone kept ringing before dawn. She took the mobile phone in a daze and answered the call. Chena Wanchu's Buddhist lion's roar and cordial greetings were heard immediately from the opposite side. When you, the little liar, come back, I will definitely pluck your arms. I just said you were not allowed to stay up all night and rush to eat on the first day. After hearing Chena Wanchu's roar, I whispered, Mom, my name is Shu Yi, Xiao Nuan. The call was hung up instantly. I looked at the phone in my hand in confusion. At this time, a text message was sent. Lao Wen and I went on a trip. Xiao Nuan, please stay at your place. I feel free to call me. All military and sports services are available. I looked at my phone in confusion. My mother-in-law was not worried at all. Xiao Nuan seems to have nothing to worry about. We have been living together for 3 years. When I was confused, Xiao Nuan came quietly behind me to check my phone. I didn't see you when I was divorced. You checked my phone, and when Dutang called me, you didn't ask why you started checking my phone after the divorce. Do you want me to help you? I turned my head and looked at Xiao Nuan, who had not washed her face. She closed her eyes and took a deep breath. Xiao Nuan, if you dare to drink again, I will definitely tell my mother. I was hungry. Xiao Nuan deliberately avoided the topic of drinking. He took the phone and opened the blacklist in front of me. There was a number that had a stomachache. Then he threw the phone on the sofa and got up and jumped to the bathroom to wash up. Looking at Xiao Nuan's back, I felt very weird. We were married less than a day and were living together again. Listening to the babbling sounds in the bathroom, I stood up and walked to the kitchen while making breakfast and conveying my mother-in-law's words. Mom and Lao Wen went on a trip and said they took away the keys to the house. I don't mind if Mom lets you live with me. It's not like we haven't lived together before. EQE. Hurry up, I have to go to work today. Listening to these shameless words, I almost carried the pot to the bathroom to fight for Xiao Nuan. What the hell? I got married, divorced, violated the contract, and still had a debt of 4 million, and then we lived together again. My heart told me to resist. I took a deep breath. You hurry up and wash up. I also have to wash up and go out. I have to interview for a new job today. After saying that, Xiaonan revealed half of her head from the bathroom and asked Xu Yi with doubts. You came back last night and washed my clothes for me. Why don't you stop going to work and work as a nanny for me? Seeing my ex-wife and her old love entangled, even if we are married by agreement, I still have the dignity of a man. XUI, you said you have a stomachache. Xu Yi, are you jealous? Xu Yi, do you like me? I didn't say anything. Xiao Nuan continued to ask, and I reluctantly left the kitchen with breakfast. Xu Yi, as long as you say you are jealous, I will not choose to have a stomachache. I'm jealous, but you have to have breakfast now. Do you understand? Another thing that is very unfortunate for me is that I have to start taking care of your life again. It's your honor, Xu Yi. You don't know that a lot of people were having dinner with me at the bar last night. Neither of us noticed one thing. What's very important is that the way we get along has changed after the divorce. I'm no longer respectful to Xiao Nuan, and Xiao Nuan no longer treats me like a nanny. He was afraid that I would ask him about the bar, and when he heard me saying that he was jealous, he was in a good mood. He cleared away the gloom and did not object to living here. In my heart, I was wailing that my father died worse than Zhao Si, but I still had to pay back the 4 million. During the meal, I received a reply from the honor group and told me that I could come to the company for a talk if I had time today. Then I staggered all the way to the headquarters of the honor group. Just when I was about to stride forward to meet a new challenge, a big red raptor wiped the tip of its nose and flew past me. My original confidence was frightened and disappeared in an instant. When I came to my senses, the raptor had already stopped in the distance. A woman got out of the car and her black skirt was covered with a pair of skirts. The woman with high heels, about 7 to 8 centimeters, has a very hot figure and wears bold clothes. But in my eyes, this girl is the murderer who almost killed me. The woman with the hot figure ran away and disappeared through the door of the honor group without waiting for me to come forward. I held my chin and thought quietly in my mind, this bitch doesn't look like a good person. In the interview office of the Human Resources Department of Honor Group, I was sitting on a chair opposite 3 interviewers, 2 men and 1 woman. This feeling reminded me of the scene of being interrogated at the police station. The female interviewer sitting in the middle took the lead in introducing herself. My surname is Zhao, the manager of the Human Resources Department. I will ask you to understand. These 2 will make a decision based on your answers and experience. In the end, whether we can achieve cooperation between you and the company. All employees in the honor group have a cooperative relationship with the company. There is no employment. In addition, Honor Company is slightly more humane than other groups. Now I will introduce to you the company system. Are you considering whether to continue the interview? Manager Zhao's expression was very gentle and there was no condescension in his words, which made me very comfortable. Then after understanding the company system, I said that I could accept the company system. Manager Zhao squinted and smiled. Compared with Chengxiang Group, we honor our employees and treat them more humanely so I don't get angry when I come to work. Now, I want to ask you a question. When you are satisfied with us, we also need to be satisfied with you. First, please introduce yourself. I will say with a smile. Xu Yi, Han nationality, 25 years old and divorced, has 3 years of work experience in the planning department of Chengxiang Group. He has planned some small projects and also participated in the planning of Honor Group. His education level is only high school, and he had an accident in his family and dropped out. May I ask the reason for your divorce? There is a huge difference between my ex-wife's family background, and I don't want to delay her. If you were asked to come up with a plan to deal with the cosmetics world, where would you start? I don't think it is necessary to target the cosmetics world. It is just a low-end brand. The main customers are middle-aged and elderly people. Calculate the reason. Okay, I will give you an answer tomorrow night at the latest. Looking forward to cooperating with Mr. Xu and walking out of the room. I was still in a confused state. I kept asking him to go out and suddenly turned around and asked a question. The Raptor downstairs is your company's car. As soon as the question came out, the faces of the 3 interviewers were a little embarrassed. Manager Zhao stood up and said awkwardly, Mr. Xu is not injured, all right? This car does belong to the company, but I know that when I see the owner of the car, I will slap him twice. Don't blame me for being rude. He was wearing 8-centimeter high heels and almost made me fly. I left. The 3 interviewers looked at each other and wondered whether to record this last sentence. My aunt is not the first time to drive in high heels, and everyone in the company knows that you must not cross the square around 9 o'clock. You must not sneak out of the city. You must take the pedestrian walkway. Manager Zhao sighed. I feel good, so I can stay and give it a try. Anyway, the company has a 1-month trial period, and the contract also states that she can be asked to quit within 1 month without any reason. As for the incident where she was almost hurt, just think of it as a meeting gift for our aunt. After all, we have all experienced it, and it has become a tradition of the honor group. While I was waiting for the elevator, I was filled with fear and thought about whether it was retribution for the divorce. My front and back feet were cleaned up by Chen Nuanshu, and then Shaonuan came back again. I was almost hit by a car as soon as possible. The interview was not ideal. The elevator opened. I took a step out with my mind filled with weird thoughts. I felt a softness in my chest. Before I could see what was in front of me, my lower abdomen was swollen. Then I heard sharp curses in my ears. You don't have eyes when you walk. You're taking advantage of me. Do you want to die? Before I even finished my words, I was caught by someone's hair. I was punched and grabbed by my hair. I was furious and stretched out my hand to grab the woman's hair. The woman let out a scream and stepped hard on my shoes with high heels. Then it became my hobby. This time I could see the person in front of me clearly. She was the woman who almost killed me just now. Tell me which department you are from. I'm going to expel you now. Please let me go. As she spoke, the woman's hands became harder. I thought I was not a gentleman. I gritted my teeth and said angrily, I'm not from your company. I almost bumped into me downstairs. I was worried that I had no place to look for you. The confusion attracted onlookers. The 3 people in charge of the interview also hurried over, because they were so familiar with these 2 voices. Manager Zhao from the HR department was stunned when he saw the scene in front of him. Mr. Liu. I frowned and let go, but to my surprise, this woman not only didn't let go, but actually opened her mouth and bit me on the neck. When Manager Zhao saw this, he quickly persuaded Mr. Liu to stop him and persuaded Mr. Liu to let go of his hand. At this moment, the two of us were glaring at each other in embarrassment. Liu Ruoyan bent down and was about to hit her with her slippers. Manager Zhao quickly hugged Mr. Liu to persuade me and then motioned for me to leave first. Later, he would call and apologize on Mr. Liu's behalf. I snorted coldly and walked into the elevator. She was angry. Liu Ruoyan arranged her hand, said softly, Mr. Zhao. Mr. Liu came for the interview today. I almost got hit by you downstairs just now. I know I was upset when I saw the handsome guy. I could only watch and couldn't eat. Why did Chu Fei keep it? The interviewer told him to come to work tomorrow and grab my hair and take advantage of me. See how I play with you. After saying that, Liu Ruoyan left. When she left, she lifted up her skirt and tugged on her safety pants. No one dared to be angry and dared not say anything about the company. It's just this general manager who makes people's hair stand on end. As soon as I left the company, I received a text message confirming that I had been admitted, telling me that I could go to work at the company on Monday the day after tomorrow. Just pick up the procedures at the front desk, but I always feel like a sheep in a tiger's den. I can't refuse. Going to the Glory Group is the first and most important step in my plan. Only here can I find the opportunity to display my talents. The 3 years of Zhang Luan's life broke my beautiful. Why is the room of a woman who lives alone so messy? Thinking of Zhang Luan, I called my mother-in-law and asked when the old couple would come back. The phone was connected. Hey auntie, your mother, she is playing mahjong. We are in Sanya. Listening to the sound of the mahjong machine on the phone, I feel my blood pressure has increased. The reason is that the old couple just don't want Zhang Luan to come back and disturb their world, but they really don't dare to send Zhang Luan back. I have to save face for Lao Wen and my mother-in-law, and I also need to save face for Xiao Wan. After all, I initiated a divorce. After Xiao Wan, I feel that my life has become darker. Who would have thought that the vice president with mysophobia in Changxiang Company would be no different from a pig at home? This young lady made me understand. What does it mean to keep your hands clean? Talking too much brings tears. In a luxurious villa, Chen Wanchu has already got off the mahjong table. The purpose of leaving is to clean up Lao Wen, who spilled the beans. Lao Wen, dressed in casual clothes, frowned and looked at his wife, who had bullied him for many years, and sighed. Do you think it's okay for us to be like, this is anything going to happen? Chen Danqiu opened an orange and handed it to Lao Wen with a frown knife. There are a lot of things going on between these two children. I've also inquired about it clearly. Did Xiao Baiyan always call us and say he wanted to go home? I told you secretly that Shu Yi is a smoker because he hasn't smoked a cigarette in 3 years. You said, what will happen to the little white-eyed wolf? Old Wen put down the orange, tilted his head and looked at Chen Nuanchu, frowning and saying, Shu Yi smokes, but I can't smoke. Chen Nuanchu, you're going too far. How can you still get divorced if you don't go too far? Today, I am happy to allow you to smoke 2 cigarettes. Old Wen Ru got up after receiving the imperial edict and ran all the way to the balcony to smoke with her old friends. In fact, Chen Uanchu called Xiao Nuan. As long as he admits his mistake, he can get the house key and go home. But this Xiao Nuan, the white-eyed wolf, hung up the phone without saying a word. He obviously had someone to back him up, so he was still worried. Chen Wanchu rushed back to the mahjong table. I pushed the cart and wandered around the supermarket, thinking about what to do at night. Finally, I bought a large intestine. By the time we got home, Xiao Wan had come back. She specially bought a set of yellow bear cartoon pajamas for herself. She was sitting on the sofa, holding potato chips and watching TV. She saw me standing at the stairs, putting down the potato chips, looking up and shouting, Shui, I'm hungry. I took a deep breath and whispered, get ready. Deleted, do you want to take the opportunity to check my phone and show it to you? I went to the bathroom. Xiao Nuan clenched his fists and shouted. My stomachache really entered the blacklist. There is no reason. Xiao Nuan just didn't want that guy to poison me. He likes foreign girls, and my sister doesn't want to serve her anymore. While I was washing the dishes, Xiao Nuan got into the kitchen, looked at the ingredients in the sink curiously with his hands behind his back, and whispered in a low voice, They are all my favorite food, so you are not afraid that I won't come back today. I washed the vegetables seriously without turning my head and replied softly, Don't you like the smell in the kitchen? Why do you keep it in? I'm not picky about food. I'll eat just the same if you don't come back. XCE, you have changed. Sure enough, men are fickle. It has only been a few days since the divorce, and you are so cold to me. Don't forget that your sister is still your creditor. Pay back the money. If you're not picky about food, why don't you buy crabs? Xiao Nuan has always bought ready-made crabs to eat. In the years after we got married, she and I only speculated on the price once. The reason was that Xiao Nuan bought crabs for me to cook, but I couldn't do it, so I raised them in a fish tank. Then the next day I saw Xiao Nuan throwing the lively crabs into the pot of boiling water. My face was gloomy the whole night. I didn't cook dinner or wash the dishes and clean up the kitchen. Xiao Nuan knew that I said the wrong thing, so I didn't take it to heart. I turned around and walked out of the kitchen. When Xiao Nuan thought I was going to go on strike again, I came back with an extra box of yogurt in my hand. I went out to sit on the sofa to drink. Don't bother me here. After the divorce, I will not be respectful to Xiao Nuan. I have no intention of pleasing women in my bones. Everyone is equal and there is no distinction between high and low. Although you are the creditor now, Xiao Nuan has not left. She doesn't know that when she said that I have changed, she has also changed. Maybe the relationship between the two has changed. They are no longer husband and wife. The intestines need to be put in more chili to taste better. Have you forgotten that at 2 o'clock in the middle of the night, you almost died of pain and went to the hospital for half a night? It was the second winter after marriage. Xiao Nuan shouted that she wanted to eat boiled fish and wanted the hottest one. Then Xiao Nuan was rushed to the hospital in the middle of the night. The doctor's diagnosis was that the enterostatic ovulation injection did not work. The intravenous drip did not work. In the end, I had no choice but to make Xiao Nuan drink water. I stayed with the bedside all night. Xiao Nuan screamed and screamed in the hospital bed all night. Because Xiao Nuan disturbed other people's rest, I almost had sex with someone in the hospital. Xiao Nuan also thought of this